Live and local. Starring Andrew McGinnis, Matthew Basgall, David Petron, Michael Turner, Jared Moss, Gabe Warwick, Brooke Merchant.
Live and Local was not actually live, only live during shooting.
Hello, welcome to Live and Local, where we are local but not really live. I am this week's host, David Ketron, and our other hosts are behind the scenes helping me put on this show. It is a nice day today here in Fort Hays, and may I tell you what else is nice is visiting your local game store. The Gamers Guild is in Hays, currently located downtown at 8th Street. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us. All of us are very excited that you are here and are looking forward to hear about both your store and your business.
Oh, thanks for having me on the show.
I have a few questions for you. How long you have the store?
Well, the Gamers Guild actually started out in my dorm room in college, I think back in 2004, 2005, where we had a bit of a game night going on. And it eventually grew big enough that we moved to a lobby, and then we moved to the main lobby, and it expanded. When I graduated, we moved out to the United Methodist Student Center. And then after I'd opened a different business, Aikido of Northwest Kansas, I wanted to still have a safe place where people could come hang out, play board and card games, and have fun. And the Protestant Campus Center was being renovated repeatedly. So we started renting the space next to the dojo back in about 2013, and just using it as a place for people to play board and card games. So that's when it officially started in its current incarnation as the Gamers Guild.
That is cool. What kind of products are you selling at your store?
Well, the Gamers Guild's primarily a hangout place. We're open about 40 or 50 hours a week for hangout, but only about 10 to 12 for sales. But to pay the rent and to keep the place open, we do sell a variety of products, some of your classic board games like Carcassonne or Settlers of Catan. We also sell a lot of the Dungeons & Dragons books or different miniature games like Warhammer 40K or Warhammer. Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of trading card games are popular as well, and accessories for any of those games.
Are there any kind of tournaments that are happening at your store, like say Friday Night Magic?
Sure, so we actually have tournaments for a lot of our different games. We have unique communities for the Games Workshop games, the miniature games, for Dungeons & Dragons that happens every Monday. We have some Magic players who play Commander, Friday Night Magic, big regional tournaments. We even have some preliminary Pro Tour qualifiers. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a tournament series, Pokemon has a tournament series. We have some board and card game nights for cross-generational gaming to try to help people get into a variety of different games. I think we have probably, 30, 40 events a month.
That's kind of cool. And yeah, so how's business so far right now? Like how's your current revenue and everything?
Well, the Gamers Guild's really run as an outreach, so we're not actually trying to make money at it. Sometimes it makes money in a month, sometimes it loses money in a month. It really just depends. Long term, of course, we'd like to see it stabilize and even earn money, but yeah, I would not know exactly without looking at our numbers.
If I would have said there was a huge crowd of customers coming to your store right now, would you be happy?
It depends. If they were coming to hang out, play, develop friendships, get to know other people, absolutely. If they're wanting to buy simple projects, I'd be happy to help them, but like on Thursday nights, we're actually not open for sales. It's a hangout only night, so I wouldn't want to make someone stressed or maybe have their expectations not met by coming in on a hangout night trying to buy something.
Out of all the games here at your store, which one do you like the most?
Well, that's a tough question. I like quite a few of the different games. One of my oldest favorites is probably Settlers of Catan, but I do like Magic the Gathering, Axis and Allies, a lot of the strategy games. I like most of the games that we carry. I tend to pick ones that are popular and that I enjoy and others enjoy.
Well, when I came to your store the first time, it was quite a cool experience. Saw a lot of cards, both old and new, and having a lot of fun with some of the local players as well. And I kind of enjoyed your Friday Night Magics.
Well, cool. I'm really glad to hear that, yeah. I mean, the goal is to be a safe, welcoming environment for anyone to come in. We have a lot of different echelons of people who come. It's surprising who plays games like Magic. We have some bouncers, we have some military guys, we have some cowboys, we have some kids, we have some quite a bit older people. Some are well established in the community. A lot of them are college kids. I was surprised there's actually one of the fraternities on campus was a common Yu-Gi-Oh player. They had like 7 different people in that frat who came out and played Yu-Gi-Oh, which really cracked me up. But they're nice guys, and they're really good at teaching kids.
So the fellow jocks are the fellow nerds. Well, anyway, if there's like anything else you want to talk about your store, that'd be great.
Sure. I guess if I wanted to share anything with viewers out there, I'd say the Gamers Guild is a safe place to hang out. Sometimes the crowd may be not what you expect, but if you come in with an open mind, we have about 200 board games in the back that are free to take out and play. We also have free Wi-Fi, drinks. It's a safe place to hang out for anyone at any time. You can bring in your own outside games, outside food and drinks welcome. You're welcome to just come in anytime and basically share our big home with all of us. So feel free to swing by anytime.
Well, Brandon, it was nice talking to you today. Thank you again for coming to the show.
Yeah.
As of right now, it is time for our commercial break.
Fort Hays has an extensive program in computer networking and telecommunications. You'll have lots of hands-on experience in multiple classes. You'll develop real skills. You get out into the workforce, you'll be able to hit the job running from day one. We have competitions. We've got esports and a computer club and a cybersecurity club. There's all kinds of other things that go along with the traditional student model.
I think the informatics networking program has been really cool because it kind of showed me a lot of different parts of computers, not just networking specifically. And I had heard for years that the informatics program here was really huge and everyone was really cool.
Health informatics, a specialized branch of computer networking, is a good option for someone who knows they want to get into the IT world, but they want to be in a very professional environment and make a difference. And the healthcare industry has a huge demand for IT professionals. So we're very inclusive. Classes are pretty small. We're not expensive as far as universities go. It's an awesome value. You know you're getting an elite program. You can't find this program anywhere else in the US. It's a great place to be and it's a good environment.
What?
Make sure they don't get too close.
Welcome back. And I have one last question for you, Brandon. How long have you been doing Aikido right at your store?
Well, I've been studying Aikido for a little over 13 years. Started at the Fort Hays State University Aikido Club, actually, and then ended up instructing that entity. So we established the dojo, which is right next to the Gamers Guild, in 2012 when we had too many non-student members of the Fort Hays State University Aikido Club. So we needed to have a place where people could still train. So that was established in 2012 with the help of Toyota Sensei, who's the director for the association, and a lot of different people.
Well, that's kind of cool. Just make sure you don't karate chop me in the throat.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't need to worry about that. Aikido's just about self-defense only, so we try to even protect our attackers, which makes it a lot harder to learn and a lot harder to execute. So don't worry about throat chop. It'd be more of a triangle choke. Actually, probably a rear naked choke.
Well, so that's kind of cool. And again, thank you for talking here on our show. I hope that your store is going well in business. And since now that Brandon and I talked about Gamers Guild, here is a video about the very store itself. As of right now, it is time for another commercial break.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana.
How does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I guess I have really been looking for love in this dating app. Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Here at Fort Hays, we believe in experiential learning. If you're interested in digital media production, coming to a school that can get you a degree gives you an organized, methodical way of learning about the field.
We like to make sure students get the tools they need and then have the freedom to go and do what they want with it as well.
Software-wise, we've got all the Avid tools and we've got all the Adobe tools. We also have certification programs with the Avid certifications for video production, audio production, and newsroom management.
I've gotten so much experience here that I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else. All the students are basically just one giant team. So it's just like a big family here. So I think if you're interested in media, you should definitely check out Fort Hays State.
In the digital media concentration, you're going to come away with skills as a creative storyteller. Everybody's using video on the internet. Somebody has to produce that, and it could be you.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Welcome back to Live and Local. Even though there are some nice places to go and have fun, the campus also has activities for students to have fun while working hard to get a decent education. And all this could not have happened without the work of the Activities Board here and now. One member of the Activities Board are here for our show. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
I understand that the Activities Board has been here on campus for quite a while.
Yes.
Can you at least tell me some of the ins and outs of the Activities Board?
Yeah, so the University Activities Board actually has 7 paid members and 25 members that are just general members. They come to our meetings every Tuesday. And so kind of our goal behind it is to create the best college experience you can possibly have. We've all had amazing college experience and love Fort Hays. We want to promote it as much as possible and have the same experience for everyone else. And so every semester we have 35 to 40 events. This actual semester we have 43 events. This week is actually a big week for us. We have 2 kind of themed weeks together. Harry Potter Weeks is the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter, and Frankenstein Week. And so we actually have a big event tonight, Frankenstein. We're showing Frankenstein 1931 at 7 o'clock in the CSI Lounge, so that's kind of fun. And then tomorrow we have 2 other events as well. So
that's really kind of cool.
Yeah.
And has anyone ever tried to give you some ideas for the Activities Board, like say for any geek themes or something like that?
Yeah, so actually we have a lot of opportunities for people to give their own suggestions and their ideas. We have a suggestion box outside of our office that anyone can go put suggestions in. And also we have an office number 10 of the Memorial Union. You have a chance to just come and talk to one of us. We have 7 officers, like I said, and we're always in there. So we always have someone just come talk to and tell your ideas about events. We have 2 After Darks in a year, and those After Darks always have specialized themes. And so like this upcoming one is actually going to be glow in the avatar, and so we're gonna have an avatar-themed glow after dark. And so we have like glow-in-the-dark stuff, free food. It's gonna be a great time. So it's kind of an opportunity.
That's
really
really
the first week of the semester of school. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, is there any other activities that's going to be happening, like say next week or maybe the week after?
Yeah. So we're actually kind of wrapping up what we're doing this year. We have 2 more like main weeks, and so coming up next Tuesday we have Sarah Schaefer. She's an amazing comedian downstairs in Cody Commons. And then we'll have t-shirt pillows, and so you can bring your own Fort Hays State t-shirt, or we have 116 random t-shirts from all around campus, and you can make your own t-shirt out of it. And then we also have a spa day, and so with the spa day event, we're gonna have just kind of relaxing time. The students can kind of come hang out during dead week and just breathe, because we know it's hardcore study time. And then we'll have a final de-stressor, and so the final de-stressor, we're gonna have like gingerbread cookies, kind of showing the Grinch, different holiday cookies, that kind of thing. So,
out of like maybe all the events, which one is your most favorite?
If I had to pick a favorite event, I would pick Jammin' in the Summer. We actually started it last year, and so it's in a festival we're going to have each year. It's going to become an annual thing. And so what's going to have is going to be from 5 to 10 p.m. on April 27th. And we're planning on having a large artist, who is a well-known artist, on from 9 to 10, and then kind of have music spread throughout. We will have different local restaurants kind of hosting tables and selling their different foods, kind of promote themselves to the students. And our kind of mission behind it is to create a goal where the community members can kind of see what the students do, and the students can see what the community members do, to create a better connection in the Hays community. Because we know how amazing the Hays community is and how much they do for the students, and so kind of wanted to give back to them while still kind of showcasing them to the students, because we have so many amazing students here on campus.
That's really kind of cool. Yeah. One of the activities I partook was the game day, as like you try to play video games and arcade games throughout like all the places and everything.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But anyways, I hope that the activities board keeps getting some new ideas. And here's my suggestion for the activities board myself. Magic the Gathering Day. Nothing but people playing Magic the Gathering all day.
Sounds like a fun time.
And hey, this maybe might help out with Gamers Guild to promote their store in a way.
Exactly, we could partner with them maybe.
Well, I hope that this is really a good day for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, it was nice to talk to you today. And thank you again for coming to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome back. We have a special bonus segment for you today. Brandon Nims from the Gamers Guild has joined us again to show us how some of the games work. What would you like to show us today, Brandon?
Sure, glad you asked. So we have a variety of different games, of course, at the Gamers Guild. Some are easier to kind of briefly explain. I figured I'd start with the most difficult to visualize, which is Dungeons & Dragons. This is a game that a lot of people like to play, it or any number of other role-playing games, where they basically act out the different characters that are present, and they have to deal with certain scenarios. They have different sheets of paper to track their character as it grows and becomes stronger. But a lot of it is up to the community itself. So it's obviously not something that we can demonstrate well on a table. If you want to get a little bit more concrete, a lot of people like games like Warhammer 40K. This is kind of for those people who like to assemble models and paint and do a lot of fine detail work, but then actually want to play with them. So 40K allows you to play basically a model army. This is actually a Titan from the 40,000 series, where you build your army, set it out on a board, and they'll actually get out there and they'll pull out like tape measures, they'll pull out rule books, they'll build big old complex terrains, and they'll have their armies fight each other with a rule set. So they'll literally sometimes have units hiding behind built-up terrain to where they can't have visual sight, and they'll have to move them a certain number of inches to look over, and then they're like, my artillery can see your troops now. Then they'll roll dice to determine how much damage happens, and those troops come off the board. It's kind of like a much more detailed version of Risk. From there you have games like Betrayal at House on the Hill, which is pretty popular. This is a tile building game where you actually get to act out the parts of different characters. Stuck in Magic the Gathering's one of the many trading card game style games. It's the original, really, for the most part. It was the first one to come out, one of the best built. A lot of the virtual games like Hearthstone and stuff are lightly crafted off of it.
Basically, Dungeons & Dragons, the trading card game.
Yeah, you could think of it that way. So in Magic the Gathering, you start out with cards, and based on the cards you draw, you can build a different board state, and you can attack the other person. There are a variety of ways you can win, as you know. Some of the most complicated decks like to get around the regular win conditions and do some pretty crazy things, but Again, that one doesn't demonstrate very well. From there you have games like Betrayal at House on the Hill, which is pretty popular. It's a tile building game where you actually get to act out the parts of different characters stuck in a mansion. You can think of it more like a social game, like Apples to Apples or Balderdash, in that it's more about the people playing the game than it is about the actual gameplay, because you and your crew go through this adventure that unfurls as you move through the board that you build. But each time, a different trigger makes some event happen, and one of you will betray the rest of the party. So you can get together and try to survive or try to take out your friends. But it's a pretty popular game as well. From there, we've got two of my classic favorites here. We've got Settlers of Catan and Carcassonne.
Settlers of Catan is actually one of the few board games I actually played.
Yeah?
It was during like one of my high school times. I played it with a teacher of mine, and it was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, Settlers of Catan is a lot of fun. A lot of people would say it's like a combination of Monopoly and Risk, which may not sound very exciting, but actually it is a pretty good time. So for Settlers of Catan, you end up starting out with, let's say that you're blue, and I am red. So you'll have an initial placement of settlements. Normally the board's a lot bigger, but this is scaled down to explain in a short segment. And then you'll roll the dice to see what number rolls. If it's a 7, the robber moves. He goes off and sits on another square. If you're blue and I'm red, then you would probably put it on one of mine, and you get to steal a card out of my hand. The way you get cards is by one of these numbers rolling that you collect on. So if, say, a 4 and a 2 were to roll, you have one settlement touching stone, so you would get one stone to your hand. I have one settlement touching stone, so I would get one stone to my hand. And over time, you get the cards necessary to build the different things here, which lets you expand out, build more buildings, and ultimately collect more resources. Eventually, as you know, since you've played the game, you can upgrade the buildings to where some of the buildings will collect double, and so you can get more points more quickly. And you can also get special victory points for having things like the longest road. But the first player who accumulates 10 points by the end of the game ends up being the winner, with each of these different expansions being worth a point, and each of the different special conditions being worth a point. So what did you like about playing this game when you played it?
Well, for one, it's the risk of trying to get the resources and also to stay away from the robber.
Yeah? Yeah, a lot of people when they move the robber will intentionally move it to a tile that doesn't have something on it, so that way they don't have to steal from their friends, and then they'll hope that their friends will trade the cards with them a little better. Because as you also know, you can trade cards. If I have a bunch of stone and you have a bunch of lumber, I can offer to trade you 1 for 1, 2 for 1, whatever it takes, so that way I can get ahead. But you don't want to trade too friendly with me, otherwise I might end up winning.
Basically a backstab.
That can certainly happen with Catan. It's helped make and break a lot of pretty good friendships, but generally it's a pretty good community building game. So leaving this genre, we can get into the tile games. Tile games are kind of like Carcassonne over here. I like Carcassonne because it's really nice and simple. On your turn, all you do is flip over a tile. Literally, that's it. When you flip it over, if I'm red and you're blue, you get to place your person on the tile. There are only so many ways you can place them based on the art that's on the tile. And you also have to build the tiles in a legal fashion. So if you flip this one over, you can't make the city just connect to a piece of plains. You have to connect to a bigger piece of the city. Also, if I'm already in the thing that you want to be in, you can't place there because I'm already there. So you have to place in a different location or choose not to place a person at all. Since you have a limited amount and there are a lot of tiles, a lot of times it's better not to place. Eventually, as you flip these tiles over, you start to get more and more complicated shapes and more complicated things happening, always adding on in a legal way as you try to build up to, again, get victory points.
I do have one question, though. What would happen if you found a tile that doesn't match to anything you got right here?
It's actually just about impossible the way they built the game. I think they have a special rule for it where you can actually replace it, but there should only be one tile in the whole set that works that way. It's a city on all 4 sides. And so if you only have non-city tiles, then you can't place it. You shuffle it back in and do a new one.
Okay.
But at the end of this particular game, the way you get points is kind of by being in the city tiles, which are worth more, being on the road tiles, each one's worth 1, or farming. If you are sideways in the grass, you supply a city, and you get 3 points for that. The real thing with this particular game, though, that's kind of challenging, is figuring out how to get on someone else's points. If I'm already in this city, and you really want to join it, when you lay this tile right here, you should probably place here, because right now we're technically in different cities. It doesn't violate a game rule. My city is worth a lot of points. So slowly, as we build these tiles, you want to try to find city pieces that ultimately let you connect these two together to where suddenly you're in my city. And if you get more people in my city than me, you actually get all the points and I get none. So you can have a lot of strategy to the game, or you can just build pretty pictures and have a good time with your friends. It's kind of up to you.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, any other games you want to talk about?
Well, I would say if you're interested in trying different games, Clank's probably one of the cooler new ones. A lot of these games are based off of award-winning games like Carcassonne or Settlers of Catan, which have both won some European gaming awards that are highly sought after. So a lot of times they'll take mechanics that are in here and try to combine them in new or interesting ways. In Clank, you're actually adventuring in a dungeon, so it's almost like they combine several of the aspects of the other games, but Clank in Space is, of course, in a space station in a futuristic environment. As you adventure in, you run more and more danger of your pieces creating clank, which is basically sound. And then the board itself will end up attacking you if enough sound is made. So you want to go deep enough without making too much sound that you don't die. I'll mention that this one was at the Gamers Guild the other night, so it's not currently in probably a good shape for me to show it. Some of the older people do a really good job of caring for the games, but a lot of the junior hires and stuff don't always put them back in the right order, which is fine.
Well, that's a little disappointing.
Oh, not too bad.
I heard there's some other deck building games like, say, Smash Up or something.
Smash Up's a pretty good game.
Well, it's nice really talking to you, Brandon, but I think it's pretty much close to the end of our time. Thank you for joining us here on Fort Hays, and I hope your store is going pretty well.
Yeah, well, if you ever want to see an actual way to fully play the game in depth, feel free to come on by for a free demonstration anytime.
No problem. Well, unfortunately, that's the end of our time. Tune in for next week's episode when Brooke will be back as our host. She won't bring us anything on Oktoberfest this time, but I'm sure it will be a great one. For now, this is David Ketron with Live and Local, and we will see you next time. Good night.
Live and Local. Starring Andrew McGinnis, Matthew Basgall, David Petron, Michael Turner, Jared Moss, Gabe Warwick,
Live and Local is not actually live, only live during shooting.